the labor industry in Cameroon. We understand that celebrations took place in the north, in the far north, Adamawa, center, east, south, littoral, southwest and northwest region, western region. We have information especially coming from Bamenda, information and picture sounds coming from Kumba, Limbe, and in Boya and Douala, to be precise, where we are broadcasting from our office in Fangudrom Bange. We are going to be discussing essentially on two topics. Today we are going to look at the statement responding to the call by Northwest Governor calling on the Southwest Chiefs to lead the march past on the 20th of May. They were instructed to carry placards actually leading their subjects as they march through the grandstand on 20th of May. And equally, we are going to be discussing about the conditions of workers in Cameroon. These two topics we are going to be discussing with our two panelists who are already in the house. We are welcoming Elvis Fatayon. Good evening. Happy Labor Day to you.
Good evening, CAMEROONIAN. Good evening to all the panelists and thousands of televiewers. And there is nothing really happy about the Labor Day, I must be honest with you. Because Labor Day most of the times it just has to do with celebrations, eating and drinking. And at the end of it, even the medals you get does not accompany the remunerations as supposed to be. So at the end of it, I think Labor Day is just for the sake of laboring for laboring's sake. Thank you. Okay,
it is laboring for laboring's sake. Equally in the house with us for the very first time is Mbakujut. He's a journalist who resides in Bamenda, Northwest Regional Capital. We're glad he's now an AIDP. We're glad to have you.
Thank you very much, Leonard, for inviting me on this platform. It's an amazing platform. And to say that my Meter Prime, for those of us in Bamenda, I must testify that my Meter Prime is breaking grounds in that part of the country. And we pray that you people over here continue with the good works. I'm an ITP, as you already said. The situation from where I'm coming from the northwest region, in the entire Anglophone country, it's not the best. I think I'm not the first to say this on this platform, but we just hope that there should and must be a solution.
There should and must be a solution to what is happening in northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon, especially knowing what happened to the chairman of the Social Democratic Front, and John Frunzi, and the SDF senator, vice president, one of the vice presidents of the Senate. Equally in the house with us is Fundu Tebek Ignatius, a civil society advocate. We're glad to have you.
Good evening, Leonard. Good evening to my dear panelists. Happy Labor Day. I would like to make one understand that today there are regions like the north and the south that many people are indoors. And then I want to make them understand that what they are going through, any pain that they go through, we share it with them. And I want to inform them that everything is going to be okay.
Okay, we are informing, we share in the plight of those living in the northwest and southwest regions. Those of you watching us from the Green City, Kumba, those of you watching us from everywhere, we want to say that we are glad you are part of the program. We are going to kickstart our edition today with discussions on the response given by the Southwest Chief Conference to the call made by Southwest Governor, His Excellency Bernard Okalabilai. That note dropped last night. Elvis Fatayon, I'm sure that was after we separated. Were you happy with that response?
Yes, I think I've been very worried with the manner in which the chiefs in the southwest region and the fronts in the northwest region have been handling things for the past time, especially the loyalty to the administration, which has always been above the way it's supposed to be. And so getting that letter as it dropped as we left in the evening, because before that we had commented on the program here, And I personally gave the chiefs of the Southwest region a challenge, and I told them this is a litmus test. And of course, I was very sure, and I said earlier in one of my outings equal to this platform, that if they don't act, it means I could give a chief a slap anywhere and the respect will not be due. But I was very overwhelmed with the response they gave, and I think that any normal English-speaking Cameroonian who is a custodian of tradition will obviously bear with me that we resume our full respect to all the traditional rulers, and they should only help us not to toe the party lines that they have been doing, and that is what had dragged them into mud, giving to the administration of the Southwest the audacity to talk to them the way they got the news and the instructions regarding 20th May.
Okay, Bakujuto, you read through that note. Were you really happy? Did you feel comforted by the response given to Southwest Governor?
When the Southwest Governor made that declaration, people like me already understood that it was a joke, a clear joke. Because, I mean, we are in a setup where people should begin to reflect before making some kind of statements in public. And administrators, for that matter, should really reflect. Administrator of that caliber should reflect on the things he or she say publicly. You know, when you look at the culture of Anglophones, the Anglophone culture, even dating back in the colonial days of the British, the Germans, and the French, you know, you understand that the way we cherish our cultures and the leadership which our traditional rulers used to accord within those days, we still hold it in high esteem today. And when a governor who does not understand, because if I were the one, I'll apologize to the people of this part of the country for torturing their cultures. We immortalize our traditional heritage. We can't not just come and then you think that you can destroy it, even at the point where Multiculturalism Commission is out here struggling to see how they can build up the cultures of the people. You just do a statement that is so malicious to a group of people. I think it's very evil. And the first people I was even hoping to get statements from the Ministry of Culture, who are now concerned with artifacts, or the Commission on Bilingualism and Multiculturalism. These are the people who are supposed to come out clear and say that, no, what this governor has said, it's tantamount to disunity in this country, because you are torturing a culture of the people who they cherish, and it's creating tribal animosity. So, to me, that statement in the same culture, like the Anglo-Saxon culture, is supposed to come out publicly and apologize to the people.
We are going to look at whether the governor is going to back down or not. But as we speak, Mr. Ignatius, ask you, did the chiefs respond to a general cry by Cameroonians? Because there was a general outcry across the northwest and southwest regions regarding the manner with which the governor spoke to the chiefs. Do you think the chiefs are acting out of pressure because the people cried out that this is unfair, we can't live to see our chiefs disrespect to this level?
It can be that they are out of pressure, but when I went through their communique, but I understood that their response was very responsible. They did not respond in an arrogant way. That is what we expected.
They responded in a diplomatic
way. Remember that our chiefs, I would like them to understand that they almost abandoned their children for politics. And I want to believe that they should start understanding now that we honor them, and they should reserve the honor that we give to them. Remember the decision of the governor. This is one of
it is a call that the governor made.
That call takes me back right to maybe many years behind. It should be one of the cause of the crisis we are facing now. The culture, it is an attack to our culture. Our chiefs that we worship them, we always worship them like gods.
You worship chiefs and not God?
No, I don't. I'm sorry I use the word worship. Our chiefs, the honor we give to them, we take them like our gods. If an administrator behaves like this, it's because of the attitude of our chiefs also for quite a long time. Because remember that our administrators have gone as far as creating chieftaincy a problem in certain villages. Because our chiefs, they themselves have almost surrendered their powers to the administrators. We are not saying that they should be disobedient to the government. We know that they are almost, they are also administrators at the ground level, but they should not surrender their culture to the administrator. So I take this one, I want to consider it as a lesson, because all of us were almost losing confidence in our traditional rulers. But I'm happy they realize, and as from now, they should try to adjust their manner.
Do you think they acted because they felt the tradition was threatened, or because they felt pressured by the outcry and criticisms that the population poured on the governor?
There were criticism, and they themselves were already feeling themselves humiliated, because they have never marched in front of the civilian. This was going to be the first time for the chief that civilian will sit at the grandstand and the chief. So sometimes I was even feeling whether was it a new system that maybe the government wanted to bring, that administrators will march. If the administrators were to march, then the governor was to lead the march past, followed by DOs and the SEOs and the DO, then the chiefs will follow. That's the way I was thinking. If it was going to be like that, even if the issue was taken like that, I don't believe that our concerning, particularly on the cultural side, I don't still believe that our chiefs will march, because I don't know, it's culture, we can do not intervene. So I still believe that there is pressure, and they themselves already they were feeling humiliated.
Okay, they were feeling humiliated. Elvis Tayo, this call by the governor is close to 2 weeks ago. It's getting to 2 weeks. How timely is the response?
Well, I think for the chiefs, I will keep on appreciating them, because the response is quite timely. That is why informing him 19 days before, or 20 days, because it came 24 hours ago. So informing him 20 days to the D-Day itself, which means it's for him to note that he has to put many things in place than relying on the statement he had issued. And so, to me, I see it quite very timely. And then when I look at the contents of the letter dished out by the Southwest Chiefs, I think it was quite very mature. But then you understand that, just like Tege was saying, the issue had been that certain things had transpired for a long time. And so we might be blaming the governor. On the other hand, we might get to understand that he comes from an area where these things are not taken the way it is. When the governor comes in, a DO can dismiss you as a chief and appoint you the next day. Right. And there's nothing like hereditary there. And so then you can even slap the chief, you can drink in the bar with the chief in the area where the governor comes from. And so, probably if you look at it critically, those factors must have count also. And then another factor that you see the letter coming very timely is for the fact that, I have been hitting hard here. Being a radio journalist for quite a long time, over 10 years, I have been carrying out interviews most of the times with the chiefs, Southwest, Fonts, Northwest, and I ask them about whether it's right for them to be into politics, and they usually tell me, especially those who have been CPDMized, they have been telling me that, no, it's a fundamental right to belong to a political party. I know that was almost the clause they used to justify in the interviews I carried out with most of them who are watching now. But now you discover that because you make yourself bananas, the monkey has every reason to eat you up. And so when you look at the conflict in the Southwest region in terms of chieftaincy, you understand the Minister of Territorial Administration, Mr. Taganji, Paul, of recent, just suspended all issues concerning chieftaincy, especially in Fako
division. Yeah.
And so if you get that, is because most of these chiefs are taken as a chop farm, Now, those who could lease as more land as possible will get the support from the administration. And you see even most of the GOs who came and left in the Fako, just like other areas in the south, but Fako was predominant for reasons I don't know, probably because of the strategic position, explains why most of them have been acting the way they are. So in this particular case here, you see that the chiefs themselves had sold their birthright into politics. There's what we call usually royal beggars, which we also saw in the saga of the Northwest Chiefs Conference, where most of them had to always parade the corridors to get peanuts from those government ministers and officials. And the worst of it, like in the case of in the Northwest, is when you see a chief stoop so low until he start greeting government officials with their hand. You know, most of them have lost all that respect. And so, but in this case here, I think the Southwest chiefs are taking a bold step to start bringing back that culture. And we think that we should tell them openly, leave politics aside for politicians, Mr. Chiefs or Chiefs, SDF, CPDM, any party. Welcome all of them, because all these people are within your community. Leave politics aside and you will still live. And the bad thing is that when the government instituted salaries for chiefs, how much? Third class 50,000 francs, second class 100, third class 150, and the government thinks that it has done what Napoleon left from them. Now, what can 50,000 francs do to a chief who has 2, 3 wives and obligations? So at the end of it, this salary issue was more of a way to get the chiefs hooked up to the administration. So the day they get up from sleep, they tell you they can dethrone you. But I'm happy that the chiefs have made a move, and we too will not take that kind of ultimatum from the governor to our chiefs, because we will fight back. Thank God the chiefs have started. And anytime we hear that, I personally will lead the fight.
Okay, you will lead the fight. We wish there is no fight between the chiefs and the population and the governor. Were you shocked when the chiefs stood their grounds, came out openly to tell the governor that we are not going to march Bakujud? Were you shocked that the chiefs, irrespective of what people say about them, that they understand their worth and that they can absolutely defend who they are?
There is one thing I keep telling myself and the people I come across, especially on this issue. The chiefs and the fonts of the chiefs of the Southwest region and the fonts of the Northwest, whatever appellation, some call themselves kings. I extend regards to King Fobize of Chomba village in the Northwest region. He refuses to say he's a font, he's a king. These people, if you go back to history, you realize that Africans have always been ruled by their chiefs and their fonts. In some places, like Mali, we used to have Mansa Musa. We have in the Zulu kingdom. In South Africa, we had this guy of Zulu. Yes, in South Africa, all those guys. I mean, before the colonial guys came in and started handing power anyhow to these administrators we see today, our chiefs used to be our administrators. So when you take power from them, look at the case of the Southern Cameroon House of Chiefs. They used to work in tandem with the colonial administration. And good for us of the Northwest and the Southwest region, we had the British who were the colonial masters. They used indirect rule. They passed through the chiefs. The chiefs were the first local people who were governing their own people. So the chiefs have that stamina in governance already in our local societies. So for me, I was not shocked. I was just looking at it to, Cameroon does not surprise one these days. If these chiefs were going to march, I will not be shocked, because in Cameroon anything is possible. The governance system is just anyhow. People do things anyhow. So the decision they took is a good one so far. I just wish that they should uphold it.
Okay, we hope that they uphold what they have said. Mr. Ignatius, have the chiefs, I was going to ask whether the chiefs, he said that the chiefs had sold their birthright, but can we also say that the governor is acting as the head of an administration in the region, given that the chiefs are subsidiary to the administration? So he's talking to his subordinates. He's not looking at it from the perspective from which we look at it from this platform.
We are reacting because this is the first time we see an administrator behave like this.
Yes, but we know that chiefs have accepted the fact that they are a subsidiary to administration. Was the governor, can we also deduce or conclude that the governor is talking as the head of administration to his subordinates who are subsidiary to administration?
He is talking as the head of the administration to the chiefs. But the head of administration has limits.
Okay.
For example, an administrator cannot nominate a chief in a village. That's where they are bound to respect culture. To a certain extent, I want to take it on the side of the governor. He is acting as an administrator, head of administration, but in certain situations, we have realized that maybe he could be playing his own politics, because we have realized in Cameroon that administrators who abuse citizens in certain cases are always promoted. Maybe the governor also is working hard in order to be
promoted?
To be promoted, yeah. Because he has been there. The governor has been in the Southwest for quite a long time.
No, but you are not answering my question. Is he acting as the head of the administration, talking to his subordinates?
I can say yes.
Okay.
But he has exaggerated. He crossed the boundary.
Okay, he has overstepped his bounds. Elvis Fatayong, Southwest Chiefs Conference. I want to go now. I want us to look at the statement. Some aspects were raised. The Southwest Chiefs Conference is determined. They say that they are determined to look for a way out of the current crisis as per firm instructions from the PM. The Southwest Chiefs are telling the governor that we are not too concerned with your call. We are concerned with a call given to us by the Prime Minister, head of government, who is equally a chief from the Southwest region, which is a call to make sure that we get out of the crisis. Do you see the chiefs working along the line?
Yes, I will see them along the line, because when that comment was, when the utterance was made by the governor of the Southwest region, we realized that there were many comments that came at the background. Some said they are expecting to see even the Prime Minister, who is the chief, to lead that march as well, because in that case, as a chief, the governor is lording over him in the Southwest region. Now, it became a very complex issue. And you see why the issue is complex, because for the chiefs, if the Prime Minister was not a chief, I didn't believe it was the former Prime Minister, I'm not sure the Southwest chiefs would have backed the way they're backing now. I am cocksure that the president of the Southwest Chiefs Conference executives must have, either by phone or by text, probably forwarded the issues to the Prime Minister.
Who is also a chief.
They must have assured them that, don't bother, write to the governor, I'll back you up because I'm also a chief. So you see where power now becomes, so you see power conflicts over
Senator for V. Mukete.
Yeah, Senator for V. Mukete, then Senator Tabe Tando, who's also a chief in his own area. So you see there are many administrators, high ranking, who are equally chiefs. So that is equally a slap on their back. That's where the governor erred, because having been, you had those normal chiefs as per se, without anybody rank and file, as I said earlier, if it was the former minister, say Young Philemon, there would have been no response. The chiefs would have only been smashing their teeth in the background. So I'm sure some high quarters say no. If we don't act there, it means that we too have been dragged to the mud. And that's the reason why you see the response coming the way it is. But at the end of the response that we get, we equally get to realize that things have been put in a manner in which change and confusion is really looming in the atmosphere. Because I said, just like what my brother TJ said, now, the important point of it that beats my imagination is that there are ministries that are supposed to respond. We are simply saying that in administration, a government does not rule alone. While you are the governor, there are other services that also are answerable to their bosses. For example, regional delegation of culture in the Southwest is answerable to the Minister of Culture, though his immediate boss. Now, the most annoying issue of all of this, that's why I said that this country is a confused state. Because I would have expected the Minister of Culture to have even texted, let's not forget about county official, because county official, you might have to delegate his powers or maybe release him. Maybe to have text Governor Okada Binai to apologize as we speak.
That's right.
I would have expected the Commission of Bilingualism and Multiculturalism, who are wasting state budgets by giving wrong decision that they should ban the name and reform and all the right, to have acted. This is another proof that that Commission of Bilingualism is a fiasco and should, in fact, if I were them, if I was the one who appointed them, as I kept saying, they should be fired ever, because this is what we expect them to talk. Now they are too less built up. And so the government is staying quiet, but the Minister of Culture should send a hot fax, a hot one, to the governor of the Southwest region, appealing on him to seek peace. It might not be openly, but at least let him talk even to the chief at the background. But remember, the statement was made openly. So I expect him to apologize the same manner in which he spoke, to call the chiefs and then apologize so that peace will reign. If not, we will be sowing a seed of discord between the auxiliaries of the administration, who are the chiefs, and the authority, who is the governor of the Southwest region.
Okay, since we are looking at the statement, in response to the call by the governor, by the Southwest Chiefs Conference. Bakujut, that note says hate speech is one of the elements to be completely discarded from our thoughts, words, and deeds. You are responding to the governor of the Southwest region, and you are saying that hate speech is one of those key elements that ought to be discarded from our thoughts, our words, and are they indexing the governor of hate speech?
I bet you, Leonard, if that utterance by Governor Okala were to come from somebody who is not in government, that person should be somewhere around the military tribunals now, because that is a clear example of hate speech.
Okay.
It's a clear example. We don't need hate speech. You don't need to insult somebody.
When you say hate speech, what is the hate speech in what the governor said?
It's an attack. When you attack verbally, you attack a culture verbally, it's hate. You create animosity. You want the people now of these tribes to turn against their chiefs. That is hate. That's a whole trouble you're causing. Now, the people of the Northwest and the Southwest region, where Governor Okala is not from the Southwest region, and when you do that kind of situation, when you ask people, the chiefs of a culture, to a particular part of the country, to go and then ridicule themselves in public, you are turning the people of that clan, of that tribe, against the people.
How do you think they were going to ridicule themselves? Okay, by leading a march past?
It has never happened anywhere in the war in Cameroon or elsewhere that I've seen that alone. I'm a little boy, younger than Governor Okala, but I'm sure he has wisdom than I do. So wisdom would have led him better to understand that these kind of things are abominable. And if we're in those areas in history where we have cultures, fetish cultures, I'm telling you, the gods would have been angry. And one of these things you see in Nigeria, people, when the gods are angry, they strike you.
Governor Okala is equally from a region that has a region and village that has gods. I'm sure the gods of his village would probably equally guide him. Ignatius, hate speech, can we also see that this call for hate speech is not only directed to the governor, but a call to the entire nation?
It's true. It's a call to the entire nation. But I will concentrate particularly on our chiefs to make them, because at this juncture, when there is a mess and then we begin to find a way out of it, I want to make it as a correction to them that as from now they should know they should know the way they behave towards the administration. And this action of the governor could be because he has observed them for quite a long time and know the way they behave. Because I want to believe that I know that the governor Okala Bilai has worked in the English region for quite a long time. He has been if I'm not making a mistake, he has been the DO of Bezam. Meaning that he understands the culture very well.
They have been the SDO for Fako also.
Yes, the SDO for Fako. He has worked even, if I'm not mistaken, he has worked in the Northwest. I said yes,
in Mezam.
We mean that he has already understood the culture very well. This reaction should be because of the way our chiefs are becoming submissive to the administration and politics. So it gave him the courage. And I believe that after this, he himself is going to adjust, as Elvis was saying there, that he should ask for excuse. Because I believe that just from the reaction, he himself is already understanding that he made a mistake and he know that he was not supposed to do like that. So I believe that hate speech, the governor is just like one example, because we have been seeing it on the media every day. There is hate speech. There is hate speech. It is happening in Cameroon.
Okay, your panel should look at the advantages of the statement. They should not be pessimistic on issues. This will not help viewers. What will they say if, at the end, these chiefs we all know much? Why can't your panel think 80% of Southwest chiefs are IDPs? We are going to look at that. Good evening to all the panelists in the House. This Southwest governor has some powers over the chiefs because all the chiefs have sold the rights to the government in politics, because in politics. This Southwest governor has some powers over the chiefs because all the chiefs have sold their rights to the government in politics because of money. And that's why he even addressed the Southwesterners as dogs in 2017, and the chiefs did nothing from the day. From then, they gave him the opportunity to do anything he likes. Let our chiefs start learning their lessons from now to protect their subjects. This is Fondem writing from Kumba. This one says, Stamfu Sidwan watching from Kumba says, sometimes to declare traditional authorities in the Southwest region always have the administration stepping in. Some of these title holders are backed by these administrators. This is why the governor is able to penetrate and even decide on what they have to do. I know that the governor cannot apologize since he knows where and how to set these chiefs to have a broken relationship with their subjects. The chiefs have banana peelings on their path. Thankful Sidwan writing from the Green City, Kumba. Good evening to all in the house. The governor is not serious. In which year was this? We say no to that. This is Daka writing from Ekona. Good evening to you guys on board. I love the topic of today. This is Daniel writing from Douala. He says the governor wants to turn our chiefs into real dogs, as he once said sometime. Thank you, Daniel, for that message. This one reads, the governor can never apologize since he called the Southwest people dogs. Has he been able to apologize? He knows what he is doing. This one says, good evening to you all. The governor will back down because the chiefs are not going to belittle themselves. This one says, good evening to everyone in the studio. Since when have funds and chiefs matched? The governor has crossed the limits. This same governor calls us dogs. He has to apologize to our chiefs. Constance writing from Douala. We have just been joined by Kiven Brenda. Brenda, I welcome you and ask to find out your take after you got this written statement from the chiefs to the governor.
I actually want to appreciate the chiefs a lot because they made a move that when the governor said this, people were already saying, oh, these chiefs will react. So the first thing is that they took that step, they reacted, they met all together and issued this communique. And from what they say in the communique, they expressed a disappointment because it's true, they said it's demeaning for a civil administrator to send out such a threat publicly. You know, you're indirectly telling his subjects that he is a toy or a ceremonial head. He listens to me. So when I saw that from the chiefs, I appreciated it. Although the thing, I need to make this clear, the chiefs in that communique that they sent out, the Southwest Chief Conference sent out, it is clear that they would take part in activities of the 20.
The usual way, normally
they will sit on the grandstand.
Yeah. Yeah, but the difference was going to be, they have always been at the grandstand. The difference this time was that they were going to lead their subjects.
We have seen fronts and chiefs march. They march because things have gotten out of hand. They say, we are tired and we are doing this. And it's kind of, our culture will look at it like a curse for a chief to march on the streets. Like, it means that this is enough, we can't take it.
And it should come from them.
It should come from them. It shouldn't come from somebody pushing them on the street. So I'm really happy that they reacted and they pointed out. If I were the governor of the Southwest region, I'll be full of shame right now because chiefs spoke to me the way I spoke to them. They didn't do it behind doors. But they also sent it publicly to him.
The chiefs also raised the issue of hate speech. Do you think there is a lot of hate speech within the Southwest region and beyond?
There is a lot of hate speech, first of all, with some of our administrators. Even we all are responsible somehow by the way we talk, by the way we send out, we share images online. We share them, maybe not knowing, sometimes we don't even know that those things are what we call hate speech or hate photos or hate videos. so we are all responsible. It's not only the southwest region. The problem is that people who are supposed to be like examples to us, when they are at the forefront of hate speech, we ask ourselves, how do these people get elected? How do these people get appointed to lead us? There are leaders. They shouldn't be like the man on the street. If I go somewhere and I meet some Cartier boys and they say some kind of words like that, some kind of threats demeaning traditional authorities. We are talking about traditional authorities here because that what the Southwest governor said, it actually touched me, and I was like, if this has happened, I respect the fund of my land so seriously that I don't know an attack like this on his person. I don't know how I would take it.
Okay, we are going to continue our discussions after these news stories from our news desk. Let's move over to our news desk to find out what stories have made headlines news across the nation, especially knowing that today the International Labour Day was celebrated across the nation.
Labour Day, otherwise known as the International Workers' Day, is observed each year on the first day of May to celebrate achievements of the working class. Like in many parts of the world, the day is being observed in Cameroon as a public holiday under the theme Uniting Workers for Social and Economic Advancements. Activities to mark this year's International Workers' Day in the economic capital Douala took place at the Place du Fête Beseke, chaired by the regional delegate for labor and social security. The colorful march past involved companies, associations, and trade unions brandishing messages all centered around the improvement in the working conditions of workers. The celebration was also marked with the award of medals to meritorious workers from all walks of life.
Pour cette journée, 10 ans de travail, c'est pas 10 jours, c'est beaucoup d'efforts, efforts bien brillamment récompensés. Je suis très fière, merci.
I'm very happy with the job I'm doing. It's what I planned doing, and thanks be to God, I have it and I'm doing it. I'm very happy with it, and I've been working on it and learning more tactics to save lives if it comes to that point. There, I don't have any problem with the job.
According to some recipients, Labour Day is not all about march past and feasting.
A day like this, normally, since Labour Day, I believe it's a day which all workers have to sit around a table and reflect on their working conditions. It's not all about feasting or drinking and enjoyment, because we have noticed that employees in this particular day used to at times mislead workers. Instead of organizing debate on which worker will sit and reflect on their working conditions.
As laborers worldwide commemorate this year's edition in all conviviality, it is hoped pleas for better working conditions live from being a dream to reality. Happy Labour Day to you all.
The third edition of the International Labour Day celebration in Fako Division, Southwest region of calls for total boycott. Several establishments, companies, and institutions in attendance gave the day the grandeur it deserves. Celebrated under the theme Uniting Workers for Social and Economic Advancement, the ceremony started with the award of 64 medals to some meritorious workers who have put in hard work to the service of the nation. Although the working conditions of most Cameroonians still remains questionable and wanting, Cameroonians celebrate with high hope in mind that As per the words of this year's theme, conditions could be improved to unite workers for the social and economic advancement of the country. Happy Labour Day.
The 133rd edition of the International Labour Day has taken place in Kumba, capital of Meme Division, in the midst of total lockdown imposed by the Ambazonia movement. The ceremony took place at the Kumba Grandstand under the auspices of the Senior Divisional Officer for Meme, Ntundong Chamberlain.
All the workers of Meme Division is true, they remain in trouble. They should be reassured that the forces of law and order will do their best to secure them and their own activity. You know, many of them, they are under threat. They are asking support. How can they support those kind of persons? They do not give opportunity to workers to go to work. It's not possible. Let me also add that it is time for them to surrender. The state remain available to welcome them.
Reflecting on the theme, Workers' Protection, a vector for social justice and decent work in Cameroon, participants were challenged to maintain a good employer-employee relationship. The Kumba Grandstand did not witness the usual turnout due to threats by Ambazonia fighters for a complete lockdown on May 1. Some few workers were awarded with labor medals and were called to continuously work hard. What went unusual was the fact that the Divisional Delegate of Labour and Social Security did not make any speech, and there were no other activities apart from the SDO speech, awards of labour medals and march past, which lasted for 4 minutes 39 seconds, where only workers from the Kumba City Council, the Kumba 1 Council, the Konye Council and workers from the Territorial Administration marched in front of the Meme administration. The ceremony ended at 11 a.m. at the Kumba City Grandstand. Meanwhile, other parts of the city remained deserted due to the lockdown imposed by Ambazonia fighters.
The population's response towards the development of the city of Bamenda is witnessing a downward trend given the socio-political crisis rocking the northwest. This was disclosed in an enlarged Bamenda City Council Building Permit Control Commission that held April 26, 2019 at the Bamenda City Council chamber alongside its members. Brainstorming on the difficulties in development control in the city, town planning certificate issues with pending files, it was revealed since 2016 to 2019, development in the city of Bamenda had moved to a downward trend with 40% drop as per last year.
That is to put in place at least effective logistics for the commission to function. You know, presently we're functioning what we call marginally, on the grounds that the small stipends we get, we call them, and we also want to appreciate the inputs of the Building Permit Commission members who have worked tirelessly without complaining, showing the interest they have for the development of this city.
To what the council's responsibility will be, given most persons had taken the opportunity of the crisis to construct haphazardly, Njok Jacob, town planner of the Bamenda City Council, said.
That is because sometimes you see people take advantage, and what they do now is within the long weekends, before you go to a site, because we had actually resolved on a method that we stop the projects from beginning. But what people do now is they take advantage of the long weekends. And taking advantage of the long weekends before you go there, it becomes at a level that you start needing administrative authorizations before you break them down. This is one of the challenges that we are facing. But like we said, giving the means and giving everything, I think we will develop alternative methods of development control.
Appreciating the Bamenda City Council Building Permit Commission, the regional delegate for urban development for the Northwest, who also represented his ministry, encouraged members' work be taken to its end through follow-up in each developmental project.
The issuance of building permits are always proposed plans, so we need to do a follow-up and at the end of this give what we call a certificate of fitness, because this is what is lacking in the commission. And I think if we don't do it, we are bound to have the disorder that we are having in our city.
Other recommendation resolve to identify and recognize architects and engineers, as well as fight urban disorder and setbacks. Ahead of World Press Freedom Day, the Cameroon Community Media Network, CMM, alongside CAMEROONIAN, held a one-day workshop to drill representatives of media houses. The workshop, April 26, 2019, at Church Center Mancon Bamenda on peace, journalism, and conflict transformation, had as resource person the veteran Pa Gideon Taka, Omar Songwe, and Oba Rose Aka, brainstormed through sharing on peace, content building, and marketing, while think about peace and reporting peace.
I think we are at the war front, as we say. We have this crisis. It is not journalism to promote crisis. It is not journalism to promote killings of people. It is the duty of journalism to be balanced in giving out and reporting, in making sure that whoever are the receivers of our reporting will get the two sides of the story.
The Cameroon Community Media Network, CMM, of the Presbyterian Church in Cameroon's coordinator, Oba Rose Aka, said the media is hard-pressed to when it comes to the Anglophone regions stroke crisis, and believes journalists have the responsibility to build and not to destroy.
The media can be the only person or the only actor that can actually precipitate a conducive environment for actors to come and talk, for us to have peace. And usually people will think that peace journalism is all about just reporting any kind of thing or letting go because they just want peace. Even when we let go of our guns, we stop killing, there will still be violence. But what we want to do is not only stopping or calling for ceasefire, but we are making sure that we also bring up different approaches so that people can solve whatever conflicts that they have non-violently.
The media men and women were encouraged to embrace peace journalism this time, for they are the only people who can bring lasting solution to crises.
Even though the numerous pleadings and complaints laid by inhabitants of Bamenda on the state of garbages being abandoned within the city by the authorities involved, their worries seems not to have changed the situation, as things seems to be getting out of hands. The city dwellers are pleading for the abandoned waste to be carried away, as they are being infected by the unpleasant odor oozing out from these garbages.
They can't put container. That day when they put that container, vapor they come out. And my sister just can't shit down. It just must belly just turn to blue. My skin start weak. I don't be able to go house. At the house 1 week before I can market. Then that thing now, it make my belly, they woke up the hot inside like fire. We just stand now only because of this, they carrying away to make my skin. It shows if I just leave this place, I feel they fine. So we know day before I get my marketing. Now fish this, now oil, and at the church, I think where people they chop. How many of you can open an inside the thing? Now, because of that, they make a day house 1 week. I feel they just beg them, say me they manage before population they here. If they carry this order, they won't die, they will die plenty. Make to beg government, make people where they carry the thing, they can't carry the thing.
This dirty there, so we don't need this dirty. It don't flop the whole town. I don't like for the say inside. Fly there, the wook can land on top something like Gary. And then when it defecate for the next thing I wait, when human being take up, it get infection. And now how I should don't for the only the order will be inheritance. The order. I know they feel fine. Most of the time when you inherit, you need to take some milk. Forget stability, forget strength, because it make you not fit eat, you be weak. They don't eat too much the whole time. If they feel clean, this daughter will be very happy.
To some fruit roadside vendors, the abandoned garbages has scared away many of their customers.
The smell of her, and we say but she don't know the. I'm never big mommy, I've been carrying sick for the.
Despite the efforts made by forces of law and order to clean up abandoned waste within the city and the resurfacing of the Ezekam company to take charge of waste management, the curiosity crisscrossing minds of inhabitants is why wastes are being abandoned for too long within the city, and what are the authorities involved doing to manage the deteriorating situation. For they believe if the wastes are cleared up, this can help to ease circulation within the city and consequently less congestion.
The media is the third arm of the government, faced with the responsibility of delivering information to the public. Amidst events to mark this year's celebration of the 133rd Labour Day, the management and staff of BT Media Group converged at the main branch office situated at Fengudrom, Bangé to crown the day with all festivities, joy and fulfillment. In the presence of the Director of Programs, Mr. Leonard, and Technical Director, Mr. Kaiser Michael, the occasion was an opportunity to create a more conducive and collaborative atmosphere between co-workers and head of management.
Just to rate this on 10, but I just need to say we are comfortable now, we are not comfortable.
And give why?
On 10. I'm rating on 9 on 10. That's to say we are comfortable. I mean, we are very comfortable. Because I think the number 9 on 10 is already a good pass.
Members of staff also appreciated this gesture, giving appraisers for the recognition of their efforts. According to them, such comfort, collaboration, association and flexibility is not a characteristic of the Cameroon working conditions. Reasons why full credits were given to Mr. Brian Tambe and family for the initiative which has given birth to the BT Media Group. All is well that ends well. In the presence of peace and in the absence of hate, enjoy the moment. Happy Labour Day.
You are watching Prime on my media. Prime, happy Labour Day to you, Peldrin. Happy Labour to you, Lasha Kingsley, and to all the workers of BT Media, to all the workers of Swecom. It was a swell day out here at our headquarters, Fengudrom, Bangé. Happy Labour Day to you, Mr. Brian Tambe, and the lovely wife, and to all the management staff of BT Media and Swecom. We are going to continue with our discussions, asking the question whether the governor of the Southwest region is going to back down. We must also note that he said those who were not going to take part in this year's celebration, especially the chiefs, were going to be dethroned and replaced. So we ask, in the course of the program, we are going to be asking who are those ready to take over the positions of recalcitrant and dethroned chiefs of the Southwest region. Fatayon, let me move over to you. The chiefs in that statement actually condemned the demeaning and threatening manner by which the governor of the Southwest reminded them of their civic duties. When you look at the tone of the governor, do you think the governor meant to ridicule or demean the chiefs?
If I look at issues critically, the answer is yes. Because the fact that you are a governor and you are lording over the traditional rulers does not mean that you should forget about who they are. Even if you have put them in your pocket politically, but at least you should also accord them some respect to an extent. If that thing was issued in a one-on-one meeting between the governor and the chiefs, it would have been okay, especially when media is not even involved. But where you take in an official preparatory meeting for 20th May, where officials are there and everybody is sharing, it means that you meant business what you said. And that's the most why I said The only thing we are talking here is because probably the governor has made himself king of kings and lord of lords in the Southwest region. In a country where administrators are responsible, once an error of that nature comes up, they either apologize or they resign. But unfortunately, because we don't have the culture in Cameroon, we're in a system where things are falling apart, and those who seemingly do the negative things are instead protected and retained for long, and even promoted. It becomes another absurd thing to hear. And so, from every indication, I don't know whether the governor might be coming out someday to say that that's not what he meant, or defending, but I could able to tell him if I meet him that, no, Mr. Governor, if I look in between your lips and listen to what you said, it's obvious that you did what you did, and it was more of a belittling. But as I said earlier, just like we contributed here on the panel, and we said there are certain factors that must have equally caused the governor, and so it's a ringing bell now to the chiefs. If we're laughing with the governor because we're in a situation whereby you see a DOC in his office and summons a chief on phone call, and the chief is running on that hot sun to come and see the deal. Why? Because all their rights have been sold, because either you have to dance to the tune, let them give you a piece of land and some kind of shady dirty deals. But then those who have credibility, because I know it's not all the chiefs who have lost their credibility. You cannot call for V. Imikete, because even when they talk about match pass, I knew the last person to think that he will ever match is from V. Imikete, and I know what I'm saying, and I mean what I'm saying. That shall be the last person you can order him to match, because he has proven some aspects of credibility. I was one time covering an event at the Kumbagastan when the senior divisional officer was on one of 20 May 2 years back, when the senior divisional officer was given a statement, probably in French either, and he stood up and walked away. It's a bullshit to the whole show, because his problem was you cannot be addressing people in an English-speaking area where most of them are English-speaking in French. And he made his point and walked away. And so there are some chiefs that, even if we want to castigate all of them, there are few that have placed that credibility. But then the political part of it that swayed all of them along to become royal beggars has equally helped to dampen their credibility, bring it down before the administrators. So when Okala Bilal looked at them as dogs, as somebody commented on a text message, and said just knew that as dogs, he could do out and do. But this time, I'm sure he will not have it easy the way he thought it used to be.
Okay, respond to this televiewer who is watching us. He did not give us his name nor actually tell us where he's writing from, but he's asking a question just to ask. Was the governor's statement an instruction or a proposal? Was the governor proposing that these chiefs match, or he is instructing?
The governor's statement was an instruction.
Okay.
It was not a proposal, because it was a proposal. You say you don't know whether they could come with some placards, whether they could march. But the instruction was more of warning and ultimatum. If you don't match, you'll be dethroned. So all of you are expected to come with their placards, with their subjects lining behind you. It is a sham of a statement. That's why I say that I look at Emmanuel Macron. He's closing down Enam in France. When Osi Joshua was campaigning for the SDF, he also made in one of his manifesto that one of his first steps to take is to close down Enam. I begin to see the reason why the Enam should be closed, because I see most of the administrators have gone through, the Enam has not gone through them. So we need to look for another school of administrators. As for Enam, zero.
That's for Enam, zero. Good evening to you all in the studio. What the governor said is totally wrong and embarrassing. Can he authorize the chiefs of his own village to march on 20th May like primary school children? Giovanni Dos Santos writing from Nigeria. Was there a need, Mbakuju, for the chiefs to write back to the governor?
I mean, that's the most mature thing they could do.
Okay.
To put it down in they are very intelligent people, they are very moralized people. They put it down in clean terms that are not insultive, and I think that's the best thing. That's the best approach they took, unlike just going on maybe on a confrontational hate speech approach. They took it that methodology. I think it's a very good thing. But I want to come back to something, Leonard. Okay. I want to corroborate something with Far Elvis. There's a question you asked if Governor Okalia actually intended that statement. he intended.
Okay.
But it is not his intention
to ridicule.
To ridicule. The initial intention is not to ridicule the chiefs of the Southwest region.
He may be out of option.
Out of option. He's just find himself in a situation, the last kick of a dying horse. We don't have a population to march, and how do we do? Let's now get these people by force. Patriotism should be this thing. Over the years, I've known that for you to celebrate National Day, it's out of will, it's out of choice. It's for you to see your country and say, no, I love my nation, I love Cameroon. I have to go out there and defend my green, red, yellow. But for you to force people, it's this attitude of forcing people now, it's the last kick of a dying horse. We have trouble. We have to resolve this trouble to bring back our population, to feel their environment, to feel Cameroonians, not by forcing people to force people to come and march. It's not his intention, but because they have in fact they have taken part in this country, they have hijacked part in this country, it is causing us all this trouble.
The chiefs are just being foolish when they were kidnapped by the so-called separatist fighters. They never saw it as humiliating. What a shame. And the chiefs, let us look at the chiefs as custodians of our tradition. They're reminding the governor that they are the custodians of tradition. Have they lived up to expectations as custodians of tradition, as the head of their subjects this far?
I would say no, because most of them are now, they are not more in their villages. Just because of the fact that they were so submissive to the government. And remember that before this crisis, our chiefs have already, their rights, their powers were already at the floor level. So this thing just came as, it was like a supporting factor. So I don't believe that because your question was that were there on their, were there still on the line with the culture? I would say no, because my message at this level, I want to talk particularly on the side of the administration. On the reaction of the governor, like the question you asked Elvis there, the reaction of the governor could be intentional. Because we are Cameroonians, we have observed that most of the Cameroonians of the other side of Cameroon, I'm talking about the French-speaking Cameroonians, they always feel superior. So they don't look at the culture on the other side like very important. That could be one of the reasons. Secondly, I mentioned it at first, that Cameroon is like, when there are situations like this, people profit behind it to achieve. Sometimes some people achieve money, sometimes some people achieve promotion. He could even think that it may be taking this decision can make a change that he would, the government will live to remember that he is one of the people who fought against the crisis and succeeded.
Yeah, but the crisis, what has the crisis got to do with ordering chiefs to lead a march past?
It is because we already observed and understood that today was going, the streets were going to be dry, the grandstand, nobody was going to come there. So
but we've seen pictures from Kumbalimbe, and Bamenda is ready.
This is one of the efforts that one is one of the efforts that he has made, added to the one he wanted to involve the chief. That one of the efforts. So I wanted to continue that. I want to tell the governor, I want to that he should also understand that these chiefs like this, some of them are not more in their villages. So the people that want to protect them were the administrators. So when the runner come to you and you begin to be belated, it's like keeping them on the road junction. Okay. So my last statement should be that in my dialect they say that when a fresh fish falls on sand, you pick it from there, it must carry sand, which means that this statement, it could be a mistake. Maybe we are not doing it intentionally, but when there is a mistake merits some punishment. Okay.
Hello, good evening, Mr. Kuman, to all your panelists on board. I'm called Andy from Moliko Boya. On a serious note, when I heard of that disgraceful statement made by Mr. Okale, I was not surprised because chieftaincies matters in Fako in general has been politicized. That is why nearly all the chiefs are IDPs in Yaoundé. Banana is made to be eaten, so let them not complain. The monkey has to feed himself. Hello to you all. Special welcome to Mbako Jute. I really want to feel like any other rational being that what the governor said was wrong, though he might have had it in mind that he was trying to bring all the chiefs together, but forgetting he was overstepping his boundaries. This is Christantus Ndikum, writing from Douala, Mbaku. I'm sure Christantus knows you. Don't know whether
he's a student, a journalist too.
Okay, it is stupidity out of madness by asking the chiefs to march. We will see how our traditional rulers will prove to us that they have given away their rights. This one says, no sound administrator says what does not fall within the ambit of the law. From Chief Sakwe, Eric Dosa. Good evening to you, Your Royal Highness. Good evening to you all. The prominent journalist posted on his Facebook walls, Tayang Tabi, lest I forget, the Prime Minister of the Republic, head of government, is a Southwest chief. He can't be given marching orders now. The Grand just smiled. Okay, I'm Fobin Evan, writing from Douala, Cameroon. Hello to you, Leonard, and to your entire panel. Please let the governor bear in mind that the Southwest land is not the center region where there is no respect for traditional rulers. Please, Mr. Governor, this is not an ideal. Shame to Enam. This is Brian writing from Yaoundé. If our government is diligent in her work, then let the governor Okala of Southwest region should be sanctioned, because this is number 2 time he is acting very bad against Anglophone people. His first called them dogs, and now he is trying to deprive their rights, which means he is adding more wounds on wounds on wound. I say shame to the BR regime. Okala is just showing the arrogance of a Frenchman. That is why we shall never be happy with some of them. Is that how to treat the stakeholders? This is Mark writing from Yaoundé. Hi, Kenzo from Tico. When the gods want to kill you, they first make you mad. The governor is confused. This one says, good evening to you all in the studio. Anyone who says the chiefs will march on the 20th of May should be taken to a hospital with an immediate effect. This is Lobet Shofola writing from Yaoundé. Good evening to you all watching us from Cameroon's administrative political capital. Good evening to all in the house. There goes a go one. Can someone please tell some of these statements that individual actions alone cannot resolve but salvage this present situation we are facing? What has happened to our tradition and culture? I don't think this is what we bargained for in the early 1960s. Let them think of a more peaceful and humanitarian way. You do not order heavy-laden people because you are being blindfolded by a group of selfish people who only care about their accounts and families. This is Tata Franklin writing from Yaoundé. Okala will not back down. First, Cameroon is a republic and not a kingdom. Second, chiefs are auxiliary of the administration. Third, our chiefs, as you see, have sold out their souls and have lost all respect. Four, most of them were not originally from the royal families, and many of them have been put there by these administrators. Even the late chief once told prominent chiefs in Munya that the only chiefdoms in Fako are theirs in Boya and that of the paramount chiefdom in Limbe. This is Ikango writing from Pendamboko. This one says, hello, our chiefs are not banana peels, from Mr. Joe Munya from Bonduma. Kiven Brenda, the governor says, the governor threatened to dethrone the chiefs who will not respect such a move. Is it possible for the governor to just dethrone them?
It depends if the powers of the people belong to the governor, or it belongs to the chief, or it belongs to the people. Well, I think that in this case, I would first of all want to say this before I move to answer that question. We have realized that we have made our chiefs powerless. We have contributed in making our chiefs very powerless. Powerless because some of our chiefs don't have work. They don't live, they don't have finances. They depend on the little things that come from elites, some members of government and the rest. So these traditional rulers
At first, we used to have, there were months or weeks when we used to give, arrange some food stuff, we take them to our chiefs, or we'll take firewood to them. There's even community work, we go to their farms and work. And some of the, when a chief is poor, he is influenced by any kind of farm and chief who has money. So we, out of the community, we have let down our chiefs somehow. How many of us on this panel have ever thought of the chief back at home and said, "Bear, this is some yams that I'm bringing to you"? How many of us have done that? We only remember our chief during development associations. That's when we start thinking about our village and contributions here and there, What about his welfare? How many children does he have? How many women do they have? So when they have the opportunity to eat, they will eat. That's one thing that I want to say. Let's take that as our own responsibility, our own failure. Then coming to your question, I will take I think maybe with the Southwest chiefs, it is possible. I don't think it's possible, but it can never happen that a governor will come and dethrone the Fon of Saul. Why does he have the powers to do that? It can never happen. He can even dethrone a Phi, let me call it a simple Phi, or let me call it a Shay. If Phi is not even a simple title in Saul or in my village, then I don't know about the culture of the Southwesterners very much. I'm talking about my culture, the one that I master very well. But it's difficult for you to even say you want to dethrone a Shay. What has your administration got to do with a traditional authority or how the traditional system is run? They work together. The government didn't start recognizing chiefs for nothing. It's because they saw that we have to work together with these chiefs to bring sanity or to develop the community. You just can't sit somewhere. You're appointed. This person is chosen by the gods. There are two different things. You cannot come and dethrone somebody who was enthroned by his people and by the gods of the land. It's impossible.
It's impossible. Good evening to you all. The governor will not back down. Will back down because the chiefs are not going to belittle themselves. This is Oliver, who did not tell us where he's writing from. What could have caused the governor to utter such a phrase to the chiefs? Is it because most of them are IDPs? Because we should also understand that most of the chiefs have left their villages and are now residing either in Yaoundé, in Douala.
Well, the main issue here that the governor of the Southwest region is not understanding is that one, because the state pays the chiefs, the governor at the back part of his brain sees them as civil servants in the first place. So he knows that in as much as he has been backing on civil servants to resume work, if not they'll be fired and all the like. So he knows that these same civil servants are the ones that he can just back at, not knowing that there are civil servants and there are civil servants. That is the first error that the governor is putting, and I know that was what at his back part of his mind, because he wants to bring in place all those who are under public service to get down to take part, because to him they are receiving salary and therefore they are supposed to take part in state duties. Point number two, the governor of the Southwest region, Governor Okara Bilabena, is also making another error for the simple fact that he needs to see people. Now, when threats come in from the restoration fighters, even if you know that you will take students from police college to come and march, if you know you take students from ENAP, that is a penitentiary school in Boy, to come and march, you still have to be scared, because it has proven that the threats that civilians give go a long way to reduce the population expected to be on the grandstand as it has been before. And so with this comparison, the governor, what he simply does is that he's taking precautions to be sure that even if the population might not be as per se, because remember they give reports to Yaoundé, and any governor with all the means put at their disposal, money, additional budget to run, additional vehicles to run, phone bills and everything, so you will not want to get query from Yaoundé. Then what's happening that I thought you said everything is in order, because the administration now, they have this statement that everything is under control, even when it's not going. Even when the going is tough, if you see the Joe of Allah holding a meeting, convening a meeting by in charge, know that this is what the Vatican man says, condition very, very critical. So when the condition is very critical, you start seeing abnormalities happening. But the question now is, as a governor, the issue of hate speech we just spoke here is what they are supposed to evict from their vocabulary. Because the tyrannic rule set in place by these Enam boys is what keeps
the conflict moving. So while this Armament Commission is trying to get people to lower their arms, while the Legalism Commission is trying to calm down people, another part of the administrative arm of the government is making the people angry and making the whole issue worse. So it's like a fowl that is trying to keep the dust together at the same time scattering it. So it becomes a kind of an absurd issue that we should be able to discuss. So for the governor himself, those are the main reasons I said. One, he sees the chiefs as civil servants, and secondly, he needs population on that day at all costs to impress Yaoundé regime that all is well, even if it's not well as per se.
Okay, Kevin says the university is there. I'm sure there's a university in Bamenda and in Boya. Baku Jude, let us even assume that these recalcitrant chiefs who decide not to heed to the call by the governor get dethroned by the governor. Who are those persons groomed, selected to take over as the chiefs of these villages?
If I were the chief, I would prefer to be dethroned than to go against the wish of my people. We are talking about a community.
Which people?
The people of my clan, of my tribe, the people I represent. I'm called chief because of these people. The truth is that people make utterances from afar. They've not been to the ground to see situations for themselves. We are talking about a life-threatening situation for the chief. The chief
are like ordinary civilians in the northwest and southwest who are often caught up between two evils. You know, you are accepting something. You are accepting to march. At the end of the day, you will find yourself in the dungeons of either the Ambazonian Restoration Forces or the government. You know, depending on which side you take. So it becomes a problem. Now, if they choose to march, or if they for those who choose to march, they will find trouble with the restoration forces of Ambazonian Republic. While those who choose not to march will be dethroned. Now, if you are dethroned,
is there an Ambazonian Republic?
That's why I'm putting it in quotes.
Okay.
In quotes, the truth is that these things, they are topics for another day anyway. So while I'm being dethroned as a chief, you're asking who is there to take over for me? The next person who is coming to take over, how legitimate is this person to the community? Who has even given this other person the guts? That's why we say people must master their cultures. It's not administration that this person just come out of an office, you pick up your pen, you decree for another one from your own day to put in that office. No. These people, chiefs, are special. They are special kind of part of a culture.
You go through traditional rituals.
Those rituals are part of a people. You cannot, there's no way you can pick a chief and just put there. So if you are to dethrone the new chiefs, the chiefs are there, you're worsening the situation, honestly, because those villages will stay without chiefs. There will be no one to replace them. Most of our villages today, the chiefs are even IDPs, like you said earlier, that escaped because of torture from either the military or the Ambazonian fighters. So it's a very sad situation. Nobody will take the risk to wear the shoes of a chief in the southwest or the northwest region.
Governor Kalia will not back down. First, Cameroon is a republic and not a kingdom. Second, chiefs are auxiliary of the administration. Three, our chiefs, as you said, have sold themselves. Hello to all in the studio. It's so amazing how the administration keeps giving us topics for discussion. It really reveals confusion in the atmosphere. Leave no stone unturned in your criticism. This is Eposi writing from the Green City. Kumba, good evening to you all in the studio. Most of those chiefs ran and abandoned us here to enjoy themselves in Yaoundé, speaking senseless grammar that no one will listen to them, hoping that they will be given awards for keeping for keeping quiet while their subjects die in pain. Now it's their turn. Wow, this one is tough. Let them face it. Okay, this is not kind to our Royal Majesties. even if the chiefs were to march, if they were to accept that, okay, we are ready to take placards as suggested by the governor, is it possible for them to move their subjects?
To move their subjects out?
Yes, because according to the call by the governor, they are supposed to lead their subjects to march on that day. Can they move them out?
The respect we first of all have for our chiefs, I don't believe that there were some people who could accept to march behind their phone. See their phone going to march and then they will line up behind him, because the people themselves were to refuse. As we already started reacting from over the media, I don't believe that somebody was going to accept. And I want to make it clear that, as you said, the governor, even when as far as saying that he's going to dethrone some of them and appoint the different ones, according to me, maybe it could happen in some villages, maybe in the south. Because to me, in our area, I believe that if they appoint you, you sit there 1 month, you are going to die. Because our phones that you see them like that,
spiritual.
You don't know where they passed to before becoming. If a phone dies, the person that is to be enthroned as the successor, sometimes it makes about a month that even his wife and children don't see him. You don't know where he is. Even the people who give them power, those powers, after they practice, they become afraid of them. So it's some sort of a drama which I just want to believe that the governor was ignorant. And he should understand that when he is working with the chiefs, he should also think about their security. Whether if they come and march, is it going to be possible with them behind? Because he is well secure. The governor, he moves with security. Why do you push people who don't have gendarmes and soldiers to move behind them, to behave like you? And then thirdly, I wanted to, I mentioned it here before. The governor just begin to see, when this crisis started, the first people who offended us, the present Minister of the Administration, the present Minister of Secondary Education, the present Director of the General Hospital, Douala General Hospital, I don't know why you see the board chair, the professor. Those are the people who started, the Anglophone started calling on the government to sack them. But instead they have been promoted. That's why I'm saying that the way this our government function is like when you are so hard to the citizen, you are promoted. So I'm trying to say that maybe the governor was also trying to make a means of getting promotion like the other people. Remember when he was in Douala, he has been the GO of the Vuri. Sometimes it was not even going between he and I don't know, was it the governor?
In that case,
yes.
Somebody like Mayor came out.
Yes.
The minister.
So from there he was promoted. When he was the GO of the
citizens.
So I want to say that at times he could be intentional, but on the other side, he is also seeking for promotion. But my message to him is that he should also think about the security of the people.
Okay, he should think about the security of the people. Good evening, glad to see Leonard on the anchor after High TV. It was very intentional. If he could call all the English speaking as dogs, cockroaches, what else can he not do? This is Agbo watching us from Moliko. Good evening to you all watching us from Moliko. Hello House, the Sudu administrator is surely trying to impress someone. Please don't blame him. This is Mbang Sublime writing from Yaoundé. Good evening, is Mr. King from Douala. I want to tell our chiefs that I'm very proud of them for this courageous action. If Mr. Bia doesn't want to give federalism, let him apply decentralization, as it is not as he fails to protect his overzealous and bad administrators. It's high time Mr. Governor leave. Okay, thank you for that. Good evening to you all in the studio and to all the listeners. Happy Labor Day to all as well. This is T. Julio from Yaoundé. I think the decision of the governor in the southwest region is just an empty threat. That can never be a way forward in solving the problem at hand. It will rather create more problems. Thanks. Okay, thank you too for your message. Good evening to all the crew members on set. Just a question to ask Mr. Governor, that when has he become a chief and to what extent Does he know about the Southwest tradition? It's high time he started respecting the tradition. This is Nzibelai Foba Roland from Yaoundé, Cameroon. This one says the pronouncement of the governor is a sacrilege. Traditional authorities and their institutions existed long before state authorities. You should back down and apologize to the Southwest chiefs. This is Ivy writing from Boya. B writing from Boya says, what about the other traditional rulers in the Francophone zones? Has the Anglophone traditional rulers become dogs that should just be toasted by their masters because they have been fed by them? And has the governors become the court of the land with the powers to dethrone the chiefs of the land? Brenda, Kiven, most of our chiefs, most of them are not living in their villages. The IDPs for the governor to say that, is it because the chiefs themselves connived, sold the rights to the administration? Reason why their people cannot even provide protection, because he says that the governor has protection, but the chiefs do not.
Well, it's true that some communities have been recently disappointed at their chiefs because the chiefs have been quite silent with when they expected them to talk. But at the same time, whoever is asking that question, why the chief should run away for his life, we should be asking the person too. Even the governor, are we sure that the governor sleeps in Boya? Are we sure about that? Are we sure that some of his deals, they sleep in Boya? We know that some of these administrators, they all live here in Douala, like Bako and myself. So they shouldn't give the impression that all is well. It was just recently that we learned that the administration of Alo in the BLM division were living in Chan. So they give the impression that all is well. When chiefs go there, they're shot. From what we know, the armed separatists at any moment in time, they can get mad at anybody. So you don't want to take chances. But
I'm sure there were security forces ensuring, taking care of
the young men in quarters. If you want to talk about having some vigilantes to take care of those things, the young men in quarters are all running away because some of them are being killed.
Okay, the chiefs have taken a very tough stance against the governor. They say it is not in their tradition, their culture, for them to go marching in front of the grandstand, and that they were going to do just what they have been doing over the years. In the face of this, do you see the governor of the Southwest region backing down?
I think for this one, I see him backing down. Okay. But you know, as we have what we call arrogant administrators in the country, they might not come out to tell you I'm sorry, because that, first of all, Enam has a spirit of pride. That's why I say Enam has no value for now, just like what O.C. Joshua, that's the first vice president of SDF, was talking about closing down Enam, because most of those who come from Enam have already shown that they are not equal to the tax compared to what they gather from there. And so telling whether you back down or not, it's a matter of choice. And I want to think that the governor has no choice, because, as I'm saying, we are looking at the caliber of people as of now who are getting up from sleep. Now, you would have, if it's to integrate to come to the grandstand, obviously they could take that risk to go. That one is not, but we tell them to march, which they have specified in their letter that it is not part of their custom. Therefore, you should not expect them to go otherwise. And I'm sure that the fact that the Prime Minister is a Royal Highness from the Southwest region and from Jam, I know that for this very fact, come rain, come sun, Prime Minister Dr. John Wite cannot sit in Yaoundé and see the way they degrade his fellow peers by insisting that they should carry placards and for soldiers to follow them. So because of the fact, I keep on repeating that, because of the fact that the Prime Minister is a chief who will not want his own decision to go down, because he, under Normal Korea, is under the auspices of the Southwest Chiefs Conference. The president of the Southwest Chiefs Conference is above when it comes to the chieftaincy issue, and the Prime Minister is below. When it comes to administration, Prime Minister is above, governor is down. And so because of this factor, the governor of the South has no other choice than to back down. It's an automatic back down. Even if he does not come to say, I am sorry. But the truth in it is that as the chiefs have spoken, if I see any chief to march, which I'm not refusing anyone from marching with placards, I know that something is wrong with him,
somehow, only God knows.
Okay. Bakuju, can we say this is also a wake-up call to our traditional rulers to use this as an opportunity to stamp their authority over the administration? We have the divisional officers, we have the STOs, we have the government.
It's an opportunity, Leonard. They have that power. People give them the power. You know, Brenda was talking about the people. Yes, the fund of for example, and that the people have left their funds and chiefs and are not giving palaces what's supposed to do. I think if we're coming from that angle, then there's going to be a problem somewhere, because the people of Gaspi, especially from where we are coming from, they have high honor for their palaces. They respect these palaces. We go for cultural festivals. They give things to the palace. It's a bad chief is a bad chief anywhere, anyhow. It's not about what you give to the palace. In those days, we used to have chiefs who had even 100 and above children. Today we have chiefs with just 3 children, but they're misbehaving. So a bad form of chief is a bad one. Let's not even begin to think that they have their honor, they have their pride. They should just reserve it as usual. And I want to just concur with Fatah here to say that Governor Okania has to back down. It's not a matter of choice. If he can, he does that silently. It's not a problem. Let him pick example from the governor of the Northwest region. Both of them are in a war-torn situation. But when you see the kind of level-headedness with which Governor Lele of the Northwest region treat issues like this, I've seen respect. I've covered many events with Governor Lele of the Northwest region. The respect he has for traditional rulers, he cannot do something like this. So this overzealousness from the Southwest at every point that is escalating the crisis, let the governor of the Southwest region calm down. Let him calm down. In a crisis situation, we use intelligence, not power, not weapons, not guns. Let them use intelligence. Let them use skilled leadership so that we can come out of this quagmire.
Is this also a wake-up call to some of our administrative authorities to know that irrespective of the fact that they are the head of administration and that the chiefs are subsidiary, but the chiefs are above all the fathers of the land?
Yes, this should be a call. If there were some people who were still to do like that, let them learn from this one. And if there are some of them who are already doing, they should learn as from now. That mistake has been taking place. It is high time we respect ourselves and respect our culture, because that mistake is going to make us the subject. Sometimes lose respect for our traditional rulers. Remember, we in the grass field, sometimes in Cameroon they say that we over-respect our funds. We should know that power is given to the fund by the people, and it can still be taken away by the people. So let the government should not be like the cause of this type of act. And I want to call also on the chiefs and the citizens and the subjects that if there were some people, just like Brenda said from here, that if there were some villagers who were not taking good care of their funds and chiefs, they should try to do so. And let the chiefs also understand that everybody is not at the same level. When you are, the villages are not of the same level. When there are small villages and there are big villages. If your citizens, your subjects are taking care of you at their level, you should not compare yourself with another firm who is ruling in a four-way drive, because those are some of the things that push them to misbehave, because he want to attain a level that is more than him. So that one is also a call to our traditional rulers. That's just what I wanted to.
Okay, we are going to take a very short break. When we come back, we discuss very briefly on the day, International Labour Day, as celebrated across the nation today. time are on my media prime. We are glad to know that many of you have been following us. Meanwhile, we use this opportunity from us at my media prime to wish a wonderful Labor Day to all the workers in Cameroon. We understand that the situation is not always very easy, but we are sure that with determination, focus, everything is going to work out very well for every worker. Kevin, Brenda, we are talking about International Labor Day. When you look at the way it is celebrated in Cameroon, what are the workers actually celebrating in Cameroon?
When I look at the day, I have the impression the workers are celebrating a break. Okay. They are celebrating a break. They are celebrating. They're having fun. It's kind of okay. I've been so. It's more of I want to take some air, from the pressure, the weight that has been on me for this past months. So that's what I see them celebrating. Some people actually celebrate jobs. It's not everybody looks at it like a break. For those who look at it like a break, they consider that they're putting too much of their energy into their work when at the end of the month they don't get anything, because workers are supposed to celebrate this day happily, and meaning that they are happy both for a break, at the same time the package that they receive, at the same time the work that they have, they don't have job satisfaction. So a day like this is I see it like some kind of escapism. They're looking for
day. You said day. You have been working for some years now. Is that what you have been celebrating? You have been escaping from something on such days?
There was some. At one point in my career, I decided that I wouldn't celebrate Labor Day again, because I realized that I wasn't insured, no health benefits, nothing. The package wasn't good.
But you did not resign. You kept working.
I wanted that experience. I'm benefiting from the experience that I had. So there are times when you adjust at the job site because you want to have experience. It's very important, and that's why I always advise the younger ones that even though you have to persevere like some of us did, we did 5 to 7 years. We were underpaid, but we were there. At the same time, what we gathered a lot of experience from what we did. But when it comes to job satisfaction, but the pay package back home. At times at home, people even point fingers at you and say, see this one, you say you're working. What did you bring back home? Nobody cares about what comes from what you gathered in your head or what skills you learned. They want to see the money that you're bringing back home. And knowing that for a female journalist like me, it's quite difficult for you to have a man who understands your work. And when at the end of the month he sees all the sacrifices you're making, and you don't bring in something that shows or even meets half of what you have put in, he sees you putting in your job. What does that mean? He's like, it's better you take care of my kids at home.
Okay, Elvis, we've seen videos from Limbe, Kumba, Douala, Yaoundé. The workers went out to celebrate, and the key activity is the traditional march pass. What is in that march pass? What is the relationship between a march pass every day and the day itself, the meaning of that day celebration?
Well, if I look at Labor Day, I understand that it is a day set aside by the United Nations. The truth in the Labor Day is that it suits international standard and does not suit Africa and Cameroon. Okay. That's why I say that we are just quick at borrowing things without understanding the intricacies surrounding them. For Cameroon in particular, when I see people march, some they pay for their fabrics or companies pay for, it's an issue, but let us say something which is correct. Labor Day in Cameroon is not a day of reflection regarding the relationship between the employer and the employee. No. Labor Day in Cameroon is an issue of show up, and then drink. As we speak, there are a number of accidents that have been recorded already. As I speak, 2 people have died already in Douala. Road accident because they are celebrating their drinking and getting drunk. Go and ask them, with this drinking and getting drunk, how much do you have? Tomorrow you'll be looking for 100 francs to buy the boat for the child.
Tomorrow the one will tell you, please, don't let me go to the market. You're giving 500 funds that should prepare food for children to eat in the house. And so at the end of it, even the so-called foreign Ministry of Labor and Social Security, whatever, too, they are all zero. Because I spoke to an official of the Ministry of Labor. When you say that the minimum package or wage, why is 31,000 francs? 36,000 francs or so. And the government sits quiet because they don't monitor the companies how much they pay and what do they follow up. And in the government sector, I ask them, when you are working with a boss and he does not pay you, most of the time these bosses, they collaborate with those guys. You go there, you complain, you see they talk things at the background. These are things that I live as somebody who has witnessed it. And so at the end of it, Cameroon is at the crossroad of underemployment. The issue of job is no longer the main problem in Cameroon. Because how much can you be paid? IDPs are in Douala here. Some selling at bars in Bonaderi, and they are paid 10,000 francs per month. And then some people get up and they say that I have employed 20 persons. The question is, they are not asking themselves, those people you have employed, what is the salary or the package you give to them that can enable them to take care of the people? Now, if you look at the borrowing capacity of Cameroonians, it's high. You are a worker, but every day you are a deficit. Before you collect money, you have to go and pay debt. Civil servants are in the same threshold. Not because of the issue of the management of the finance, as people always claim, but for the fact that their needs are above the income. And so at the end of it, the government itself that keeps on encouraging this day to be celebrated needs to sit down. We want a government that takes a giant step transferring technology into Africa, transferring technology into Cameroon. Let's finish the manufacturing industries be established. This will be employment. Yes, we'll be celebrating what we call Labor Day in real terms.
Yeah, Brenda and Elvis are raising the issue of the celebration itself from the African and Cameroonian perspective. Bakujut, do you think this should be a time of reflection, or otherwise, how should such a day be celebrated in Cameroon?
As of now, it is still a day for sociality, without reflection, like Talion said. And over the years, I have noticed a downward trend in the number of people who celebrate this day across the country. If you watch the images on television across the country, you realize that like when we were growing up, we used to see populations, companies marching on Labor Days, Savon soaps everywhere, you know, those kind of things, but we lack them today. There's a downward trend in the number of people who even go to this field to march and celebrate this day. And all this accounts for the fact that we have a very poor economy in the country. We cannot be in a country where people are unemployed. The unemployment rate is just so high that it becomes so difficult for people to even celebrate. So other countries are celebrating. They are celebrating success. Yeah. In America,
my question to you is, how should this day be celebrated in Cameroon and Africa?
It should. I'm saying it should be celebrating. You should be celebrating success in your economy.
How should you be celebrating success? Differently put, today we see everybody going out to march.
Yes.
Drinking. Wild celebrations and snacks. If you were to advise on the way to celebrate this day in the context of our economy, what should be done?
That's why I'm going back to the fact that our economy needs to be a buoyant one, so that people celebrate the successes.
The economy is not buoyant.
Yes.
We are hoping to become an emerging nation by 2035.
And that's why she must celebrate. If that be the point, if we are not a buoyant economy, we should not celebrate days like this. In America, for instance, where this day was given birth to, people celebrate in America. They celebrate the success stories that today I have good health coverage as a worker. Today I have yes, I have social insurance. My work wage per hour is $13-15, You cannot come to Cameroon where people have no reason.
We understand that this day was born out of frustrations aired by workers, and today represented by trade unionists. How, according to you, should trade unionists behave to ensure that workers are better taken care of by their respective employers? And on the other hand, do you think they are playing their role?
The trade union, I will not judge them to an extent, because trade union, all of them are still employers. They are employees. I'm trying to say that many of them are still employees. When you are employee, it means that you have somebody who is your employer. You cannot take a decision more than your employer. I will talk in relation to this day. The way the trade unions, what they are supposed to do is to, this day should be a day that employers give opportunity to the trade union and the employees to tell them their feelings, to express what they expect their employers to do to them. That's my own point of view. And then to another extent, Leonard, we the Cameroonians have been requesting always to the government in the past years to bring in foreign investors to Cameroon so that it will create employment. But I'm trying to see in recent years, the thing is coming like a curse.
You are not talking about the trade unions. You've seen them over and over doing one or two things.
You mean the trade union? Yes, they have been doing their best, but today, we are talking today is Labor Day. This is a day, the highest day that they should.
Most of those who are given opportunity to make speeches are trade unionists, because yes. I'm sure I've attended many occasions. You have 5-6 trade unions that present speeches. The next year, you find them presenting the same speeches. People are suffering in the respective industries. Trade unionists exist. But the actions, we don't really feel
the question is, what are the positive impact that come after their speeches? Because we know that during this day, they are the one making speeches, but we don't see positive impact.
Yeah, that is why I'm asking whether they are doing the job.
They are doing it, but the results not coming.
Are you a trade unionist?
And I'm not a trade unionist. I'm not a trade unionist.
Okay. Yes, your assessment of what the trade unionists have been doing in Cameroon so far.
The trade unionists are more active when we are getting closer to Labor Day.
Okay.
Yes, that is what I've noticed. And I realized there was some day I went into one labor office and a trade unionist got in. I realized that the person was, the labor official was complaining that you guys are never available. When we have even trainings for you, that you don't come. But when you hear that government has chipped in something to support you, that's when you start rushing and you're fighting. You're coming alone. Where are your other colleagues? So some of these trade unionists, I believe so much that they have failed the people. That is why we have some cases which are being trashed in a way. Workers still suffer because there are sometimes employers drag cases in court. And there are sometimes when some workers can't take employers to court because they can't afford lawyers. I believe that's where the trade union comes and mobilizes funds and then help the worker to get maybe his money back from the employer. But the trade unions have been sleeping. Look at radio. Look at radio stations today. Look at television stations today. How many workers are paid? I mean, I don't want to talk about well paid. How many of them are paid? We have a trade union in Cameroon. The trade union, okay, fine. They decided they took a resolution that they were going to see into it that they support staff so that they get paid. But I believe that it should not be just about talking. It should be about acting, because many of these workers are starving. So we need them to act, not speeches.
We need them to act. I'm trying to ask the civil servants. That civil servants observe the ghost town like this, one in 3, and the governor doesn't take any action, but he's only insisting on the chiefs. Chief civil servants. This is Oscar writing from Kumba. The governor is appointed by the chiefs. But the chiefs are enthroned by their subjects and by the gods of their land. So it's a joke to dethrone them and replace by someone who is not chosen. This is Baye Martin. Hello to you guys in the studio. My name is Radu Abara Mboa, we all know that the tradition is not strong like that of our Anglophone tradition. That is why the governor, who is working only to his master and not the population, he has insulted us a lot. Let him for once say he is sorry. This is his writing from Douala. Can we see the message please from Bamenda? I don't know what the message is. Good evening. I'm advising that Cameroonians should do everything possible to make sure CPDM doesn't win councils and parliamentary seats in the upcoming elections so as to correct constitutional laws in future. I call on other political parties to sit up. If you have a copy of the message, can we see on the screen to show and evaluate the content? This is sent from Bomenda. Good evening, dear panelists. It's Conrad from Boya. I think this government reacts before they think, if and only they even think in the first place. How can the governor force the chiefs to match chiefs, even laborers, in the first place? Come to my village in Bali in the northwest and see how my chief is being respected. I guess Southwest chiefs should do well to regain their respect. I just hope the governor of the Northwest region never use his brain to think of a thing like that, because the brain will crash and he will just go mad. This is Fokala writing from Douala. Has it been to the level where governors will be forcing people to march? They keep saying nothing is wrong in Cameroon. Have they started realizing it now and think they can solve the problems by forcing them to march? This is Nzeka Hudu writing from Yaoundé. Good evening to you all in the studio. The governor was appointed and not voted. As such, he thinks our chiefs are appointed. Besides, he has a very tight security and our chiefs do not. How does he expect our chiefs to carry placards and march? This is disrespect for our chiefs. Besides, their security is at risk in the hands of the Amazonian fighters. Let the governor back down and apologize to the chiefs. I am Dente Kingsley, writing from Cape Town. Good evening to all the panel on board. My name is Robert from Limbe. I think the governor like to see more death in the southwest region. If the governor is asking the chiefs to march, it means the prime minister has been belittled. He has to apologize. We are running up. One word to the employers who are watching us now.
Well, the one word is that employers should take every step to respect their workers, especially those that think they are low rank and files. I'm talking about the cooks, the drivers, and the security guards. These are the three main persons who are always relegated to the background, but they are the ones who hold the life of the company or who hold the life of those they are working for. Thank you.
Okay, Maku, one last word for our for the workers, not the employer system.
For the workers, I just want to advise them that before you get into any workplace, for your safety and the safety of your company and whoever, even your employer, do well to put some terms down. Do well to sign a contract, at least, even if it's a temporary contract, because when you don't do that, at the end of the day, you'll be the one to suffer. So if you are not comfortable with your working situation, give it up. It's not war.
Okay, give it up, though he says they should persevere because it brings experience. One last word for our labor officials.
Labor officials, like the employers?
Labor officials. We have the Ministry of Labor and Social Security.
Yes, I would just like to say that they should see into the conditions of it is not going. What we see on the media is not going. Workers in Cameroon, things are not really working because a company the employer will start with a capital, and sometimes he begins to find himself with a capital at a level that times 10. He should also think about the people who help to bring up the capital and think about the working conditions. That's just what I have from there.
That's what you have to say. Yes, Kiben. One last word to the trade unionists.
They should act, like I earlier said, they should act more and not only wait for Labor Days for end of April or beginning April before we start seeing them going from one radio house to the other to present, what they have been doing. Let them let them start acting. At least people pay dues. They need to push people to pay their own quota, their own dues, because if the people don't see you working, they will not be moved to pay dues. So you need to work more. Okay, they need to work more.
Jembonde writing from Yaoundé says we can't be talking about Southwest Chiefs without a representation from the Southwest. There were two persons who were supposed to be part of this program. They indicated in the afternoon that they were tied up. That is why they are not part of this program. I'm sure Baku, I called you this this afternoon to take the position of somebody who turned on. Good evening to everyone. The governor has made a mistake by saying that Deep Stephen is writing from Limbe. This one says it's a good idea, Mr. Governor, if only you lead the march past with placards. This is Mola writing from Tole. This one says when God wants to kill you, he first or make you mad. Tell the governor he's not a normal. No, this one is not. It's not good. Hello to you there in the studio. When the lady in the studio is talking about the phone on Southwest, not the Northwest. When you look at the Southwest chieftaincy, most of them are not hereditary like in the Northwest. So if the governor precised on the category class of the chief, then bear me witness the chiefs will march on the 20th of May. The administration of the current regime is just acting out of frustration. Right from the head to bottom, the administrators talk without reasoning, thinking they are trying to make things right. This is Chris Santos writing from Douala. This one says, I want to ask whether after march past chiefs are going to have security forces to protect them. This one also says that trade unions in Cameroon are duping the workers instead of working for them. Okay, we want to thank you for coming, Kiben.
Thank you very much for having me.
Mr. Ignatius, it was a pleasure having you.
Oh, thank you very much.
Bakujut, for the very first time, we are glad to be a part of the show.
Anytime, any day.
Okay, and to you, Mr. Abis, thank you for coming.
Thank you very much. All must be well for people that do the right things.
Okay. Many messages. We promise to read the messages in our next edition. We want to thank everybody who took time off to write to us to be part of this edition. We equally want to express our gratitude to the technical team that has done everything possible to bring this program live to you from our studios at Fangudron Bange. Out here in Douala, Cameroon's economic capital. We want to say stay blessed.